this is the scariest side of my opinion. If you're alive and you're incompetent and you can't direct your own health care, you can't fight your own battles, someone needs to do this for you. If you have no planning, if you have no preparation, you're signed up for what they call a conservatorship of the person. Think Terry Schiavo. Okay. And so in California, we have a document designed to eliminate this risk. It's a medical power of attorney known as an advanced healthcare directive. Guys, this is arguably the most important document of the entire bunch up to this point. This doesn't deal with money anymore. We're now talking about life and death. This is why this document is so important and powerful. It deals with your life and potentially your death. It's called an advanced healthcare directive. Now we're up to number 6. Number 7 in these maroon binders that you're following along with. It has 5 basic parts. Okay, part 1 is the part that can save your life. It gives you the power to appoint an agent. Think of this person as your healthcare advocate. And so in the scenario where you can no longer direct your own healthcare, this person's job is to fight on your behalf. You pick them ahead of time. They don't need to go to court to get this authority. You're appointing them your healthcare agent, and they can fight to protect you. So if the doctor's doing a bad job, they can fire the doctor. They can fight with the HMO if the HMO is giving you the runaround. They can roll you in an experimental program or put you in hospice. Whatever legally it takes to protect you, they have the right to do so, and they don't need to go to court. They have that power built into the document. It's the power to appoint an agent is the part that can save your life. That's part 1. Part 2 is the instructions section. This is the part that says something like this. And this pretty much is how most of our clients feel. If it comes down to machines keeping them alive, and there's no chance they're going to recover, no hope of having any quality of life, if they're suffering, and but for these wonderful machines, you would have died naturally. Most people don't consider that living at that moment. That's just prolonging death. And so what this document gives your agent the power to do is to say to the doctor, to the hospital, thank you very much for trying, but please let them go with dignity, and they can remove life support. And sometimes it's in your best interest to let you go. So we're talking about life and death now. Would you agree this is an important document to have? I think it's the most important document to have, actually. If you had to do one, we don't recommend doing only one. This is the one to do. Okay, part 3, HIPAA. Anybody familiar with HIPAA, the privacy laws? Okay, it's been around for a while. It's the reason why when you go to a pharmacy now, you have to stand behind a line to get your prescriptions filled. You know, it takes all the fun out of going to the pharmacy because you can't snoop anymore, right? Well, that's a good part of HIPAA. So this is why when you go to the doctor's office now for the first time or go, return after a long absence, usually handed an authorization that they want you to fill out, where you have to identify by name the people they can release information to about your condition. And you must identify your adult children and your spouse. You have to put them down on those forms. Otherwise, they could be denied access to your information. They're afraid of being sued. Healthcare providers are afraid of being sued for violating this privacy law. So that's why they make you sign these authorizations. But the problem is if you're involved in an accident and you're rushed off to the hospital by ambulance and you're not conscious, you can't sign an authorization. And the last thing we want is the people that we put in charge of making life and death decisions for us being denied access to our medical records or information because of HIPAA. It's a problem. So the way we get around that is that in the healthcare directive, we build into it a waiver of the HIPAA law. And basically what you're saying, it's like a pre-authorization. What you're saying is to the world, I want my medical privacy protected. However, as to my decision makers, give them all the information they need to make meaningful and informed decisions. And that's how we overcome the HIPAA issue. It's built into the actual healthcare directive as a waiver. Okay, any questions so far? All right, part 4, donation of organs. We cover it. Why? Because most people, even though you may have a driver's license that says you're an organ donor, they usually don't end up having a driver's license by the time they pass on. And so some of this planning that we're talking about here is about leaving peace and direction to the people we leave behind. By saying something about this. We don't want our families arguing over organ donation. Do they want to be or did they not want to be? Give them some guidance. Say something in the healthcare directive. So some of this planning actually benefits the people you leave behind. And finally, part 5, burial instructions. There's been some famous cases where they've gone to war over this issue alone, just on this issue. You know, in Terry Schiavo's case, most people don't realize, when she passed on, they went back to court to fight against. They fought over this buried versus cremation issue. Or Anna Nicole Smith or James Brown, Ted Williams, the baseball player, and then most recently, Casey Kasem.